When someone wounds you, there is always a cry within, a cry for justice, a cry for balance. But life does not operate on your impatience. It moves with precision like the rising and setting of the sun. You may not see it immediately, but everything that is done must be accounted for. Have you ever seen the sun worry about when the night will end? Or the ocean chase after the rivers that betray it by flowing elsewhere? No. Because life has its own rhythm, its own intelligence, its own way of maintaining balance. The universe operates with precision. Every action has a consequence, every cause has an effect. It does not need your interference, your anxiety or your anger to function. When someone wrongs you, the first instinct is to seek justice. You want to see them suffer, you want to see them acknowledge their mistake, you want them to feel what they have made you feel. But have you ever noticed that when you chase justice with bitterness, it eludes you? When you try to force punishment, it often backfires. That is because you are trying to do the job that life is already doing, but in ways that are not always visible to you. Life is like a great river, always moving, always flowing, always adjusting itself. If a rock stands in its path, the river does not stop, it moves around it. Over time it wears the rock down and eventually the rock is no more. The same happens with people. Those who hurt others stand in the path of life's flow, thinking they are immovable. But life has no favorites, no special cases. Just as the rock is worn down, those who act out of cruelty, deceit or malice will face the slow erosion of their own peace, their own joy, their own stability. Sometimes this balance is immediate. You might see someone who has caused pain suddenly face a downfall. Relationships breaking, financial struggles, mental unrest. Other times the balance takes longer. Years may pass and you wonder, have they escaped justice? But nothing escapes. Just because you do not see a tree growing does not mean its roots are not spreading beneath the ground. The process is always in motion. And here is something even deeper. Justice does not always come in the way you expect. You may want to see them lose everything, but life knows better. Their downfall may not be public but private. Their punishment may not be external but internal. Imagine a person who wronged you, who seemed to get away with it, but every night they cannot sleep. Their mind is restless. Their victories feel empty. They have everything but peace. Is that not a greater punishment than anything you could have orchestrated? The real question is not whether life will balance itself, because it always does. The real question is, will you have the patience to allow it to happen, or will you disturb your own peace by demanding immediate results? The choice is yours. You can waste your energy watching, waiting, hoping for their downfall, or you can rise above, knowing that the law of life is always at work, making sure that everything, every action, every intention, every wound is accounted for. So leave it to life. Trust the balance, and while life does its work, do yours. Heal, grow and move forward. Because the river does not stop for stones, and neither should you. We are conditioned to believe that action is the only form of justice. If someone hurts you, you expect to see a reaction. If someone wrongs you, you want to hear an apology, see a consequence, witness a dramatic downfall. But what if I told you that the loudest response from life is often silence? Have you ever stood in a dense forest at night? There is no human sound, no cars, no machines. Only the quiet whisper of nature, but in that silence, a million things are happening. Trees are growing, animals are moving, the earth is shifting. Just because you do not hear it does not mean it is not happening. The same applies to life's response to injustice. When it appears that nothing is happening, when it seems like those who have wronged you are living freely without consequences, that is when the deepest shifts are taking place. The person who hurt you may be laughing in front of others, posting their victories, living their life as if nothing happened. And you wonder, where is justice? Where is karma? Why is life allowing this? But the most profound punishments often come in ways you cannot see. Consider a tree in the winter. From the outside it looks dead, no leaves, no flowers, no movement. But inside, beneath the bark, changes are happening. The tree is storing energy, preparing for its next season and adjusting to survive. Similarly, when someone wrongs you, life does not always send a lightning strike in response. Instead, a slow, invisible process begins. Their relationships become strained, their peace starts to erode, and their future becomes uncertain. But because you cannot see it, you assume nothing is happening. Silence is not inaction, it is precision. It is life working in ways that are beyond your understanding. A person can be surrounded by people but feel alone. They can have wealth but feel empty. They can seem successful but be at war within themselves. Sometimes the greatest punishments do not come from external loss, but from internal suffering. The mind becomes restless, the heart becomes heavy, and no matter how much they try to distract themselves, an emptiness lingers. Have you ever seen someone who has wronged many people but refuses to acknowledge it? Notice their life closely. They may appear powerful, but there is no peace in their eyes. They may seem happy, but they keep running from stillness. Why? Because when they stop moving, the weight of their own actions catches up with them. They fear silence because in silence, they hear the echoes of all they have done. And here is a lesson. If you are waiting for noise, you are missing the point. If you are waiting for a dramatic downfall, you are distracting yourself. Do not waste your life staring at their story, waiting for a moment of retribution. Instead, focus on yourself. The best response to those who hurt you is not revenge, not hatred, not even waiting for their suffering. The best response is rising so high that they become insignificant in your world. The real victory is when their existence no longer affects you. So when life is silent, do not mistake it for inaction. Understand that silence is a response, and sometimes silence is the most powerful response of all. When someone harms another, whether through lies, betrayal, cruelty or selfishness, they often walk away as if nothing happened. They may laugh, move on and continue their lives without a second thought. And you, the one who has been hurt, are left carrying the pain, questioning why they seem untouched by their actions. But life is not a straight line, it is a circle. Every action, every word, every intention eventually comes back to the one who created it. This is not superstition, not wishful thinking, it is simply how life works. What a person puts out into the world is what they must eventually live with. Imagine a person walking through life with a heavy sack on their back. With every lie they tell, every person they hurt, every selfish action they commit, another stone is added to their sack. At first they do not feel it, they continue forward, unaware of the weight they are accumulating. But over time, the burden grows. It does not matter how strong they think they are, eventually the weight becomes too much to carry. This is why people who consistently hurt others, who manipulate, who deceive, always seem to live with an underlying restlessness. They may have success, but they are never satisfied. They may have people around them, but they do not experience true connection. They may appear happy, but happiness does not last in a life built on harm. Their past actions follow them like a shadow, always present, always waiting for a moment of stillness to remind them of what they have done. Have you ever met someone who is constantly busy, jumping from one thing to another, surrounding themselves with distractions, refusing to be alone? That is often because silence is unbearable for them. In the noise, they can avoid themselves. But when they are alone, when there is nothing left to distract them, the weight of their actions presses down. It is in those moments that they begin to feel what they have created. There is a reason why people who hurt others often turn bitter as they age. When you are young, you can outrun consequences for a while. But as time passes, the weight of unresolved guilt, broken relationships and dishonesty starts to show in the lines of their face, in the heaviness of their spirit. No amount of material success can erase it. Now you might think, but they do not seem to feel guilty, they do not seem to care. Understand this, just because you do not see their suffering does not mean it is not there. Some people become masters at hiding their burdens, even from themselves. But whether they acknowledge it or not, their actions shape their reality. They may pretend to be free, but inside they are bound by the very choices they have made. The greatest punishment in life is not always immediate loss. It is the slow realization that despite all they have gained, they are empty. The world may see their victories, but only they know the battles they fight in their mind. No one escapes the weight of their own actions. So if you have been wronged, do not waste your time waiting for their suffering. You do not need to carry their weight for them. Trust that life will make them bear it in ways far greater than you ever could. And while they struggle with their burden, you should focus on setting yours down. Because the one who learns to walk lightly, free of resentment, is the one who truly wins. Pain is something we all try to avoid. From the moment we are born, we seek comfort, warmth, security. No one wakes up in the morning and prays for hardship. And yet, pain comes, loss arrives, betrayal cuts deep. People hurt us, life breaks us, and in those moments we ask, why? But have you ever noticed something? The strongest people, the wisest souls, the most unshakable minds, they are never the ones who had an easy life. They are the ones who have walked through fire and emerged transformed. They are the ones who have faced storms and learnt how to stand. Pain does not just happen to us, it shapes us. It is not a curse. It is a sculptor carving us into something greater than we were before. When a seed is planted, it is buried in darkness. If it had a mind, it might think, I have been abandoned, left alone under the soil. But what the seed does not realize is that this darkness is not its end, it is its beginning. The pressure of the soil, the struggle to break through, the effort to reach the surface, this is what allows it to grow into a mighty tree. Without the darkness, there is no strength. Without the struggle, there is no growth. It is the same with pain. When someone wounds you, you feel as though you have been buried. But what if this is not the end? What if this is the moment when your true growth begins? Pain is the most honest teacher. It strips away illusions, it forces you to see who you really are, what truly matters, and who truly belongs in your life. When everything is going well, we rarely question things. We become comfortable, sometimes even blind to what is real. But when suffering comes, it shakes us awake. It shows us who is truly there for us, who we really are. and what we are capable of surviving. Think of the people who have hurt you. Maybe they betrayed your trust, maybe they lied to you, maybe they abandoned you when you needed them most. At first, this pain feels unbearable, it feels unfair, but look at yourself now. Look at how much you have learned, look at how you have grown. Did that pain not force you to become wiser, stronger, more aware? Did it not reveal to you a strength you never knew you had? The truth is, the ones who hurt you did not break you, they built you. Yes, they may have caused wounds, but those wounds are where the light enters. If you had never been hurt, you might have never realized your own power. If you had never been betrayed, you might have continued trusting the wrong people. If you had never felt pain, you might have never understood what true healing feels like. Life is like fire. It can burn, yes, but it can also refine. Gold is purified in fire, steel is hardened in heat. The strongest trees grow in the harshest winds. If nature understands this, why do we resist it? Why do we see pain as punishment when in reality it is preparation? Now there is a choice. You can let pain destroy you, or you can let it transform you. The difference is in your response. Do you hold on to the bitterness, or do you extract the lesson? Do you keep asking, why did this happen to me? Or do you ask, what is this trying to teach me? Pain is inevitable, suffering, however, is optional. The same fire that can burn you can also forge you into something indestructible. The same storm that can drown you can also teach you how to swim. What you take from pain is up to you. So if you are hurting right now, if you are questioning why life has dealt you this hand, know this, you are not being punished, you are being prepared. You are not being buried, you are being planted. And one day you will look back at this pain and realize, it did not destroy you, it made you. When we hear the word karma, we often think of revenge. We imagine a cosmic force punishing those who have wronged us, striking them down with misfortune, making them suffer as they made us suffer. But karma is not about revenge, it is not about punishment, it is about balance, it is about precision. Imagine a person walking through life holding a mirror in front of them. Everything they send out into the world, every action, every thought, every intention, eventually reflects back at them. If they send out kindness, kindness returns. If they send out harm, harm finds its way back. It is not personal, it is not emotional, it is simply the way life works. A seed does not choose what it will grow into after it is planted. An apple seed will grow into an apple tree, not an orange tree. Similarly, the energy we put into the world shapes what we receive in return. The problem is, people misunderstand karma because they expect it to act immediately. If someone betrays you, you want to see them betrayed the next day. If someone lies to you, you want them to be exposed instantly. But karma does not operate on your schedule, it operates on its own timing with perfect accuracy. Sometimes it happens quickly, other times it takes years. But make no mistake, it never forgets an address. Karma is not about delivering the exact same pain in the exact same way. It is about delivering the experience that will teach the necessary lesson. If someone has caused suffering through selfishness, karma may not make them suffer in the same way, but it will create situations that force them to feel the emptiness of their own actions. A person who uses others for their own gain may find themselves alone when they need help. A person who lies and deceives may find their life filled with people they cannot trust. A person who takes shortcuts may find themselves stuck in cycles of instability. It is not about revenge. It is about alignment. Life ensures that people receive what they create. Look at the world closely and you will see this truth everywhere. Have you ever seen someone who manipulated and deceived others, only to later find themselves surrounded by people who do the same to them? Have you seen someone who used others for their own benefit, only to end up in a place where they feel used and discarded? It may not happen overnight, but it happens. Now here is the real question. If karma is so precise, why do we need to worry about it at all? Why do we waste energy waiting for someone to receive their consequences? The more we focus on their downfall, the more we attach ourselves to them, the more we expect life to punish them, the more we remain trapped in the pain they caused us. You must trust the process and let go, because the truth is, karma does not need your help. You do not need to seek revenge, you do not need to obsess over their suffering. Your job is to heal, your job is to move forward. Their actions have already set their consequences in motion, whether they realize it or not. And here is something even more powerful. When you truly understand karma, you stop wishing for harm to come to those who hurt you. You no longer need to see their downfall to find peace, because you realize that the greatest victory is not in watching them suffer. It is in rising so high that their actions no longer affect you. So, let life do what it does best. Let karma work with its quiet, perfect precision. And while it does, focus on your own path, because those who have wronged you are already on theirs, and life will teach them everything they need to learn.